Hi, it's me again, Neriko John, the creator of the Pageant News Portal. So today we are going to feature another strong contender to compete at the Miss Universe stage, probably next year. Yeah. And she's no other than Miss Halima Aden. I bet you are so excited to know her. I actually prepared a video for you that will surely satisfy your cravings and probably answer your questions if she's deserving to be our next Miss Universe. So what are we waiting for? Let's go ahead and watch this. Whoa. So let me pause and read this for everyone. So Halima Aden is Miss Universe Somalia 2020. She is noted for being the first woman to wear hijab in the Miss Minnesota USA pageant, where she was a semifinalist. Following her participation in the pageant, she received national attention and was signed to IMG models. Aww. She was also the first model to wear hijab, a burkini in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit. Okay, so interesting. Let's continue, guys. Oh my god. So, it's a UNICEF ambassador. He was appointed by UNICEF USA. Okay. That's a great backstory of her. Amazing. Well done. Good job. So let's get to know her more. I think this is an interview. One of her interviews.
Ambassador, activist. What do you not do?
Oh,
Oh my goodness. Josh! Did I pay you to say that?
Oh,
extra?
you pay me. It's the one and only Halima Aden. How are you today?
Amazing.
Now, you've just become the face of Bottle Top and Together Band all at once as well.
wow.
And you are breaking down boundary after boundary after boundary. Like, I was listing down your achievements. You're the first person to wear hijab in the Miss Minnesota USA pageant, the first model to wear a bikini on Sports Illustrated, which went global. Like, what have you learned from breaking down boundaries?
Whew. Oh my gosh. I learned so much in like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
But Josh, I like never thought I would ever like get to flip through a magazine and see somebody who I could like relate to wearing a hijab or somebody who looked like me. So I can't even put into words how it feels to be that person for like so many girls in my community.
Did you feel represented ever growing up?
Well, there's nobody. You know, there's not a hijab wearing model, there was not an actress, there's not like somebody who I could relate to in that sense with the hijab and like, you know, but I did have Hannah Montana that I could relate to, who does not look anything like me. You know, she was played by Miley Cyrus, but it was also like the small town girl, like also having this career in like music, but also coming back and going to school. I don't know why, but I was like, oh, that's so cool, you know? But yeah, I found little like ways to relate to characters like Hannah Montana, but like never really somebody who I could relate to on like a personal level or you know something deeper than that.
I guess you have to find your role models in your everyday life as well, I guess.
Yeah, and then some people, it's like you don't have to look like me for you to be a role model for me. Like I had women like Oprah Winfrey who I looked up to when I was younger and in school and learning about everything, like her life journey, what she's had to overcome to become the woman that she is, and like just knowing that where you come from doesn't define who you can be tomorrow.
Now, you've had such like an inspirational story.
Thank
Like,
you.
for those of people who don't know, you were like born in a refugee camp and then you came to the US when you were 7.
Yeah.
What was your like first memory of that refugee camp?
First of all, I remember running around almost butt naked at times, but let's be honest, like that was the best part about growing up in a refugee camp is you got your hands dirty, you got your feet dirty, and it was like go out and play until like the sun goes down and then run back home. But it was definitely challenging in terms of like not knowing when your next meal is coming and like malaria and like just the element and like the fact that your entire future, your entire livelihood is in limbo at all times. Like that was devastating. And I think as like children, like at 6, I couldn't tell you what a refugee meant or why I was that way, because all I remember was the camp. I was born and raised there. It was home. It was all I've ever known. So I had a great childhood because I didn't know any better. But it was definitely a happy childhood in terms of community. I mean, the refugee camp, it was like the largest, I think it still is the largest in Kenya. You know, Kakuma is one of the biggest camps in the world. So it was refugees from all over Africa, and a lot of them were my friends. And so getting to like learn Swahili and speaking fluent Somali and running around and singing, like my childhood was comprised of songs, and that was beautiful. That's something that I would never ever like change for the world. I wouldn't have had my life any other way.
How do you think those 7 years have shaped you as a person?
It made me rich in terms of I know what brings me joy. True joy is having friends, like having friendships, even at 6, 7, like cultivating those relationships. It would have been so boring if my camp was made out of just other Somali boys and girls. Like I couldn't tell you how like bland that would have been probably, right? It's made me rich in terms of knowing what brings joy to my heart, you know?
Yeah.
And knowing that you'll survive. Like I was fine in the camp, like we were thriving in other ways, right? So that resiliency of knowing that no matter what curveball life throws at me, I know I'll be able to tackle it. I'll know I'll be able to survive it. I'll know I'll get through it because I've gotten through worse.
And I think it's so amazing you can sit here and say something that so many people see as a negative experience, to say it's like such an empowering experience.
Well,
right?
when you have nothing but that, you are forced to see the beauty in the littlest things,
I agree.
the simplest things. You
agree.
are appreciative, you are grateful. There's no such thing as like a horrible, horrible childhood and in a camp. Like I think there's always a good side. There's always a bright side to any situation.
Now you're going on to achieve all these incredible things, like being an ambassador for UNICEF, like being the face of these incredible brands. Do you feel like you're doing it for that girl who was in that refugee camp?
I see myself, and I always think like, what would 12-year-old me, what message could I have used? You know, that's why I always tell girls, don't change yourself, change the game. And when I say that, I really mean be confident in who you are. Like wear your identity with pride, no matter what that looks like, no matter what that is. Wear it proudly, and the right people will accept you for you. And you don't need to fit the mold. You don't need to fit the mold. You are just fine the way that you are.
Okay, I think that's the end of the interview. But of course, the most important question here is she your next Miss Universe? Well, I did not even say something during the interview portion because I was so impressed and I was so speechless. The way she delivers her thoughts, the way she displayed her confidence during the interview. So I was so amazed. So if you're going to ask me if she is the next Miss Universe, hmm, let's find out. Because again,